Genre: expository text. Compare texts. Read to find out how people barter and trade goods for the things they need. When corn was cash. Think of the last time you traded snacks, baseball cards, or video games with a friend. You traded something you had for something you wanted. No money was exchanged. This is called bartering. Why do people barter? It is a good way to get what they need without money. People have bartered for thousands of years. Farmers used to trade their crops for the things that they needed. The barter system. Long ago, there was no money. As a result, people bartered to get food, clothing, and shelter. A family that raised chickens traded eggs for milk with neighbors who had a cow. Sometimes there were problems with bartering. What if a farmer wanted to trade apples for shoes when the shoemaker didn't want apples? Then there was no trade. People had to decide the value of the different things they traded. They also had to agree on how many apples to trade for shoes. In spite of problems, people all over the world bartered. Bartering was also an important part of America's history. Native Americans. In the past, Native Americans often used the barter system. People from different families and villages got together to exchange items. They traded crops such as corn, beans, and tobacco. They exchanged dried fish and meat. They traded stones for making arrowheads and animal hides for making clothes. Native Americans in the Northeast valued beads made from quahog clamshells. The beads were called wampum. Wampum means strings of white shell beads in the Algonquin language. Native Americans used wampum in ceremonies. They gave it as gifts. Later, when Native Americans began trading with colonists from Europe, wampum even became a form of money.
Native Americans used wampum to decorate clothes and other items, such as this belt.
Settlers and traders. In the 1600s, people from Europe started coming to America. Life was hard for these immigrants. They had very little money. Unlike today, there were not many stores. Colonists relied on bartering to survive. They exchanged cloth from Europe for crops that the Native Americans grew. They also traded beaver furs, baskets of coal, and cows. Later, the colonies used corn and rice and other goods as money. Some especially valuable items were accepted as a form of payment throughout the colonies. Everyone needs a buck. A deer, or buck, was worth a lot to colonists. The meat gave them food, and the skin and fur gave warmth. Even today, we call a dollar a buck. Native Americans traded furs for the things they needed at places called trading posts. Make connections. How do people get what they need by bartering? Think about what you've read this week. What items are good for bartering?